Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Sportsman's Warehouse, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and Avery Superstore.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And a great interview there talking to Billy Doyle, Billy Ross Doyle, if you want to be specific, and fishing on the Wolf River. And if you haven't done it, put it on your bucket list to do it. And speaking of bucket list, if you have not been to the Hunter D. Stafford Memorial Wildlife Supper, shame on you, because it is an event that touches and has touched so many lives over the past 19 years. It's hard to believe. And we have Jimmy Stafford on with us this morning to talk about this, an amazing event coming up on September the 14th. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing?
All right. How are you, Mr. Larry?
Always doing good. Always. This is like an annual interview every year that I've been a part of it. Back in day one or day two, back in that time, and 19 years. And, of course, I know it's a great event. You guys doing a marvelous job at Holly Grove Cumberland Presbyterian Church right out of Brighton. Do it. But it's also a time, I know, for you and Miss Emma, it's not always easy, right?
No, sir, it's not always easy. That is correct.
Well, tell our listeners how this got started and a little bit about your son.
Okay. Well, Hunter was 12 years old, and he loved hunting and fishing, and he had said he wanted to be a preacher, and a few weeks later he got killed in a boating accident. And so his mother and I sat around, and we just said we couldn't let this go to waste. And
yeah.
So we started having this wildlife supper at our church, and it's just been a blessing to a lot of people, and us especially. For the last 19 years, it's been over 300 people accept Christ.
Amen.
Wow.
Wildlife dinner.
Yeah. And Hunter would be, let's see, how old now? Would be
31.
31.
Wow.
So from that tragedy, as many lives as Hunter still touches, then
yes, sir.
Through this event, did you really realize what you were doing when you started this? Because I know I've asked you this about you and Miss Emma, and it's not just y'all. It's a community effort in this thing.
Yes, sir.
So talk about where you were and where you are now.
Well, the first year we were expecting to have maybe 100 people, and I think it was like around 250 people showed up.
Yeah.
And so by this time now, we have about anywhere from 12 to 1,500 people come through the door on that one day.
Is that amazing, folks? Did you hear what he just said? That over 1,000 people come through the door. And how much do they pay, Jimmy?
They pay nothing.
They pay nothing now. Now, that's, of course, it is a fundraising event. So, admission is free, but you do just accept donations, right?
Yes, sir. We accept donations. We do skeet shoots and ham on a string and bow shooting and tomahawk throwing, and we just charge a very little minimum for that. And,
yes.
All the money that we raise through this dinner, it goes to help send kids to church camp. So, therefore, we don't know how many seeds. We've planted lots of seeds, so we don't know how many people have accepted Christ at these camps and stuff. There's no way to tell, but we know it's been quite a few.
Also have a few vendors, too.
Yes, sir. We do have a few vendors. We never know each year who's going to be there or not, but we always have a crowd,
You do. And
yes,
and one of the other things that you guys do, there's food, right?
Yes, sir.
Lots of food, right?
Yes, sir. It's lots and lots of food. Lots of food.
All types of food.
All types. We have just about any kind of wild game that people bring us and donate. Emma and myself and my father-in-law and a couple of other volunteers, we cook it all up ourselves.
You do, don't you?
Yes, sir.
So prepare for this thing, because you got so much to work for. On September the 14th, it starts at 6 o'clock, and but you don't get things going on Friday night before, because this thing takes a little effort to put together.
Yes, sir. It takes us. We start preparing the food that we can cook and freeze about 2 weeks, which we're starting this weekend.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but we have lots of stuff that we have to cook fresh that day, and we could not do it without the volunteers from our church and from our community.
Yeah.
That get involved with it.
And Cumberland Presbyterian Church, you'll wonder what's on 4538 Holly Grove Road, right out of Brighton. Of course, now that my son lives in Brighton, it's a little easy journey for him to go and everything. And we're talking to Jimmy Stafford. Jimmy, I know you got a young man this year. Dustin Kitchens is going to be your speaker. I've been privileged to speak a couple of times out there. I think that's the first time I ever sang. And I didn't get invited back for about 4 years after that. No, I didn't. In fact, I sang the same song at the hunting show, at the breakfast. I mean, at the worship service that we had at the recent Buck, Duck, and Bass Expo and
yes,
a Living Prayer. But talk about Dustin.
Dustin is a local Tipton County guy. He's a big hunter and fisherman, and I've been knowing him quite a few years. But in the last, the last 6 years, he's made a big change in his life, and he is now an ordained minister.
Really?
And,
okay.
Yes, sir. And he's really got a strong testimony with the way he was raised and his family life and all that. He just really didn't have that, and he overcome a lot of struggles to get where he's at. But he's one great guy. And
as the way this thing works, folks, he said it's an all-day deal. I mean, the special events start at 10 a.m.
Right.
They're going to have music and everything, and then after you eat, you move into the sanctuary, and
yes, sir.
They have lots of prizes. I got some for you too, Jimmy. I got to work it out to get them to you. When I get back from Montana, I'll get them to you somehow. But I do have some prizes that from Outdoors at Larry Ray that we want to donate to.
Okay, that's great.
To the event, and I get back on the 11th, and I'll get with you before the event and make sure. But all this is posted on. Will be posted on lroutdoors.com. Gene, you've been to this event.
Oh, yeah, it's a great event, especially with the kids. And, of course, I like it when the older adults outshoot the kids, and they can't believe when they busting the clay pigeons, the other guy has to break his other half.
Yes.
And that's how they eliminate them. That's a neat event.
Well, one of the neat events that I guess you will have it is the ham on a string, right?
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's describe that to the trucker driving down Interstate 55 right now. They're going to have a ham on a string contest.
Yes, sir. Back in the day, they used to put a real country ham on a string, and you'd shoot it with a .22. If you break the string, you got the ham.
Yes.
And so we have a weight on the string now because not too many people eat country ham no more. And
that's a bad
so
thing.
we tie a weight on there, and we shoot at that string, and we've had quite a few people
hit it,
break that string.
You
We've
have
actually had a blind man that cut the string twice.
No, wow. Let's redo that again. Now I missed that. You've had a blind man cut that string twice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was sitting there watching him when he done it. He has we've helped him hunt. He owns a place called Christ Outreach for the Blind in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And so you sit behind him. He's got a guy to sit behind him and put his hand on his shoulder and put your fingers on the butt of the gun, and you look down and you tell him up, down, right, left, and fire.
Yeah.
And, man, they're steady as a rock.
Oh, man.
And so it's just amazing at the things that guy could do.
Well, I know it's a great event, folks. Again, September the 14th, Holly Grove Cumberland Presbyterian Church, right out of Brighton. Be plenty of signs. You'll say, I can't get there from here. Yes, you can. Right out of Highway 51, Woodlawn Road, Indian Creek Road out of Atoka. And but just come to be prepared to spend some time and also hear the word. No telling what else you might find, but I guarantee you'll find good fellowship and good food. Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Larry.
Tell everybody hello. Hope to see you out there, buddy, okay?
All right.
All right.
We appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Jimmy Stafford, 12-year-old, lose your son in a boating accident. And,
a drunken boater run over him.
Yes, it's just sad. And I know, Gene, you got a heavy heart. I've got to say this. Gene lost his son recently.
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, and, of course, he lost his wife.
7 weeks ago.
7 weeks ago. So you folks lift up the Smith family. Gene has kept that cool. It's only because he's got inner faith that I know he does.
I know exactly where they are.
That's right. And so, you know, the experience of losing a son, but Jimmy and Emma Stafford said, well, Hunter, he wanted to be a preacher. And he said.
Right, he confessed he wanted to be a preacher.
Yeah.
And he'd been saved and been baptized.
He had, and so all this years, I just didn't realize that it was 19 years. That's just hard to imagine. So I always have Jimmy on or someone from that group, and of course they were out at the big show earlier in the month here, and I was there and bought some tickets, and maybe I'll win something.
There you go.
You never know.
They have a lot of prizes. I mean, every kind of prize you can imagine to be
numerous door prizes.
Yes,
say.
they do.
I wonder how many numerous is.
Well, numerous of them?
Numerous of them, yeah, okay.
That means more than one.
Okay, I know you're waiting. This is the time. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, turn on his own music. He's going to read it. He's got a cough he's been suppressing over. He's got 6 cough drops in his mouth, 2 in his ear. So we got time for Charlie Covington, our own poet laureate. So get ready. We'll be right back.